Hello and welcome everybody to this week's edition of the Founders Pod. Happy to have you with us today. Excited to share some time with you on this mini edition of the Founders Pod.
And we're back in studio.
Oh man, feels so good. It feels so good to be back in the United Commercial Insurance Studio. Happy to have everybody here. My name is Brandon Miner here with my co-hosts Jordan Hansen and Matthew Lamb.
Hey, howdy, hey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. And as you can see, we have the owl. You can't see it, but we can see it. That's what we're looking at when we look at you. So we are on YouTube. Come and check us out. Add lots of comments over there. Sometimes things get heated on the comments discussion.
Don't fight.
You know, keep yourselves calm. But you can go over there. You can hit comment and subscribe as well. We would appreciate that. And yeah,
check us out on YouTube because we're looking good.
YouTube at the Founders Pod. That's our handle. So
you would search
YouTube.com/. At the Founders Pod.
Could you just search Google YouTube the Founders Pod or at the Founders Pod?
Maybe. I don't know what would come up, but for sure, if you go to YouTube and type in at the Founders Pod, you will find us. Or if you go directly to the URL.
Check us out. Also, want to rep some new gear.
Oh boy.
Matt, grab one. Hold it up. We got new gear. We got new shirts. The Founders Pod shirts.
For the guests.
For the guests.
That's right.
So if you're excited to join us as a guest, look how good that looks on Matt. The Founders Pod with our logo. Really exciting stuff. Exclusive. It's an exclusive club.
You can't get it anywhere else.
Only 50-some people don't have it. They could have gotten it. They could have gotten it.
Can they come back?
If they're listening and they reach out, we could possibly get them.
We'll send you one.
Leave us a comment on YouTube.
We'll send you. That's right. It costs you one comment. You coming into the studio and recording was not enough.
Shipping.
One time I bought for Matt's company and Matt and Brandon when they had a shipping company.
That was awesome.
I bought their first product when they had opened it up, right? It was a small container. I still use it. So it's a very high quality.
Plastic jar.
What size jar was that?
16-ounce amber? Or was it?
It was amber.
Blue.
It was amber.
Oh.
It's like this.
8-ounce.
You know, it makes sense for you to have gotten a cobalt blue jar.
Oh.
That's the name of the color.
A mistake. That was a mistake. Yeah, should have gotten it. But anyway, I bought it. And it was one item. And I think it was 80 cents for the item. And then like $15 for shipping. And then Matt chatted me later. He's like, you think you could come and pick this up?
Hey, what was so funny about that? Matt's like, we can't deliver it. We charge you shipping, but we can't deliver it. And Jordan's like, wow, that's good service.
But do we remember why Jordan bought that?
Yeah, I do remember why. Yeah.
Because Matt couldn't play Fortnite with us until he had his first order.
Yeah.
So I made sure the first order happened so he could play Fortnite.
What was impressive was like, wow, Jordan was thinking to himself, wow, you guys really have good value to offer. Like, I'm really impressed with your business so far.
I knew how I'd worked for a packaging company before, so I knew how it worked.
That's what friends do for each other, though.
That's right. Well, it's for Fortnite.
They don't ship products to each other.
All right.
Did you come by and pick it up, or did we ship it to you?
Happened. I don't think you shipped it. I think I picked it up. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Well,
I got it sometime.
You should have just sampled it. Should have just ordered
Shipping
a
is free
sample.
for samples?
That's $10.
I don't know if we had samples set up at that time.
Yeah. All right, look, I'm going to read in our ad. But first, I have a question. Do you guys dream?
Rarely. Very rarely.
I don't remember very often, but I was just talking about this with my wife, and last few days I've been remembering them weirdly. Yes.
You have been? Or
have been. I never do, but this week.
Does that, if you don't remember them, does it mean you don't dream, or is it just?
I think you always dream. I don't know. It isn't your REM sleep, so it's like if you don't get enough REM sleep, I think you always dream when you're in REM sleep. But if you're not getting a lot of REM sleep, then you will not have dreams. So if it's like poor sleep, I guess.
I remember talking to Matt at one point in his life, and he went like years.
Still, like, yeah, it's very rare
that you
I go
dream?
to bed, I fall asleep really quick, and then black shuts off. I wake up.
What does that mean?
There's nothing in. Like,
does that mean?
Nothing happens.
A void.
Yeah.
Does that mean you? Honest question: are you a robot? Like, are you an avatar?
Do we know?
I'm part of the simulation.
Not that we're sponsored by this, but there's a show out there on Apple TV called Severance.
I love Severance.
Yeah.
That's great.
I love it.
It was amazing.
It's incredible.
Mm-hmm. I thought everything done well was well done. That's Severance.
That's me, except there's no other world
That we know of. Because the location is your bed.
Yeah.
And the minute you fall asleep, your other guy's like, well, I'm turned on.
Yep.
Anyway.
Out doing stuff.
Well, look, while you're dreaming, I think it's interesting to talk about people dreaming. I dream all the time.
You're making it sound like our ad is for Severance, like Apple TV is.
No. Here's what our ad is.
Apple TV, if you're interested.
Here's what our ad is.
Comment.
Here's what our ad is. If you dream, the infinity pools, they can take your dream and make it a reality.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Did you know that?
Yep, I see what
because
you're saying.
they can give you the pool of your dreams.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
which in my case would be nothing.
would be blank.
So dream bigger than me.
Have a better dream than Matt.
Dream on.
Like if Infinity Pools comes to Matt and they said, "We'll build you the pool of your dreams," you'll be like, "Wow, guys, I have it. There's nothing there.
It's just blank.
It's a blank."
Yeah.
But for everybody else, there's Infinity Pools. Check them out, infinitypooldesign.com. You can check them out. They have incredible pictures online. I've been following them on Twitter.
Instagram.
And on Instagram. Work all over, I think, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, different projects all over, the western region.
Sun Valley, Idaho.
Sun Valley.
And Sun Valley, Idaho.
Not anything in the Treasure Valley.
Look, if you want an incredibly well-done pool, most of them are custom. Check out the pictures. Get an idea. If you can't dream, you can go on and you can look at the pictures that they've done. Really, really big projects. Incredibly well-done company. Really happy that they joined us for the podcast. Check them out, infinitypools.com.
Summer's just around the corner. Summer is coming.
You need to start now.
You definitely need to start now.
You do, because if you want to enjoy it this summer, I'm not sure what their lead time was. I got a pool, and I'm torn. I got it. So we've had 2 pool people on the podcast. Mitch. I got mine from Mitch, and it was a 10-month wait.
Yeah.
Just to get them to come out at the time to look at our property. And so it was like a year out. So I'm not sure if they're still the same, but start now, start today, call them up, give them a call, infinitypooldesigns.com. Check them out. Also, you can listen to episode 52 to learn more about that.
You just guessed 52? Is that right? I think it's right.
No,
Ren
it's 52.
Ren was
It was
52. Yeah.
That's a special one, 52.
Yeah. So, all right, well, let's jump into it. I'm going to introduce a segment that we're going to start doing, not every time, but sometimes. The segment is Mount Rushmore. Cue the music. Nope, not that one. There you go.
There it is.
Don't have those labeled. On the mini pods, what we're going to do is we're going to throw in some segments to change things up a little bit. And this segment is called Mount Rushmore, where one of us will offer to the other hosts an option of the top 4, the Mount Rushmore of this category, right? And we can discuss that. And so today I wanted to talk to you guys. The Mount Rushmore, in your opinion.
By the way, this is where the comments are going to get heated on YouTube. Because people are going to disagree.
And rightly
or
so,
agree.
because this topic is going to be controversial.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. I'm going to let you choose 4 of this item, and you can never, ever again eat anything else but these 4 for breakfast, and it's your Mount Rushmore of cereal. Okay? Now, we should all have somewhat of a good experience with cereal. I'm not sure if you still eat it or not.
Yeah.
But
Had some last night.
the thing about cereal is I grew up eating cereal every single day. Every single day. My kids don't eat cereal as much as I eat cereal. I eat cereal a lot. And if you go to the grocery store, there are aisles dedicated to cereal. So, Jordan, if you were going to pick your Mount Rushmore of cereal, what 4 cereals would you include?
I love cereal. 4 is, I don't know if I can do.
You have to do 4.
Have to do 4? Okay.
You can't.
So a classic staple for cost and flavor, Honey Bunches of Oats with almonds. Probably my classic staple, right?
Okay, very
That's
good.
my everyday cereal that I could have.
Okay.
I love for some flair, some good tasting things. I like Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Ooh,
That sounds
crackling.
old.
That is
maybe
very
man,
old school.
But it's
What's
delicious.
next?
Do you
Grape
like
nuts?
it because
It's great nuts.
do you like it because it gets smooth? The texture, it turns from hard to smooth.
I
after
don't
a
know.
while?
It just hits the spot. It has a nice little bit of sweet.
Cracklin'.
These are actually expensive too. Like
is a
Cracklin'
Cracklin'
is?
Oat Bran. Yeah.
Is that in the shape of the O or like the
Yes,
O?
and it's like a square O, right?
So I don't mind that
it's good.
because
better
there's a
mind it.
time where it when you start it out, it's really crunchy
Really
and hard,
crunchy.
and I don't enjoy it. But then there's like this moment
Right.
where
Get the window.
it shifts from hard to like kind of like dissolves like an Oreo in milk. It kind of like
yes.
gets to that. But then if it's too mushy, it's gone.
Great. So Crackle brand number 2.
Your list is way more mature than my list, by the way.
Yours is gonna be like, well, we'll see. Don't spoil.
We'll get there.
Number 3, Raisin Nut Bran.
Dude, wow, Jordan.
I love Raisin Nut Bran. Dude, those
It's
little
good.
things in there.
Raisins for cereal
they're
is a
covered with nuts.
horrible
Yes,
idea.
it's like not just nuts, but it's like a sweet.
It's coated.
It's coated in this sweet thing. You've never
Wow.
had Raisin Nut Bran? It's delicious, dude.
It's
really
been a while for me, but yeah, it's
another
good.
expensive cereal. This is like when I want to splurge if it's a fancy time. You
These
know?
are luxury high roller
Raisin
cereals.
nut. Like when you go to a really nice 5-star hotel, bed and breakfast, and
I'm
they
like-
have that, you're like, we're
like-
eating
I
well
mean,
tonight.
if
baby.
they don't have it, then it's, I don't know if it's 5-star.
Well, you can't give it 5-star.
That's right. It's just whatever.
Like $6 a box.
Raisin
Right.
nut brand.
Now I'm trying to think
Fascinating.
of a fourth. Because those are like the main ones I eat.
Your splurge is raisin nut brand.
Yeah. If I go to I'm looking for a yummy dessert cereal, maybe Fruity Pebbles. How about that? Honorary sugar
Incredible.
cereal.
Fruity Pebbles
are
should be added to everybody's, by the way. But anyway.
Fruity Pebbles really good. And you know what I love especially, Kara hates it, Fruity Pebbles as Rice Krispies. So
Oh,
if they use
yeah.
that as the ingredient
Absolutely.
for, anyway, that's my 4. Mount Rushmore of cereal. With
Somewhat conservative, I would say.
bread.
I'd say it kind of ages us if that's like the 4 that we choose, besides the Fruity Pebbles.
Yes.
I was waiting for grape nuts, honestly.
I like grape nuts. I don't know if
think
it's my top 4.
You've missed like one of the all-time greats.
Which is, go
Well,
ahead.
I'd be curious to see if
Okay,
Matt hits
Matt's
it.
going to go then.
Okay, I'm going to go. Special K.
Wait. Special K. Oh,
With
yeah,
strawberries.
Special K with
Doesn't it have like the
strawberries.
yogurt
strawberries.
stuff in there? Or no, that's a
No.
different flavor.
It's kind of like Wheaties, but with strawberries.
Okay.
Yeah, not bad.
O's.
Okay, so that's what I was going
That's
to
a
say.
cereal.
O's
that's,
is
that's a sweet cereal, right? That's like a sugar,
Yeah, it's tear the roof of your mouth up cereal.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a Captain
it's-
Crunch kind of style.
but it's the
Similar.
one time that's worth the pain.
It's worth it.
It's absolutely worth the pain.
you can't do
O's
it too
is
many days in a
incredible.
row.
No, your mouth will just break out and
That's
like
right,
bleed
yeah.
all over you.
Next. S'mores.
Ooh, not bad. S'mores is good. I want to eat with the kids.
I like kids, man. Me and my
Okay.
kids hang out and eat cereal together.
There you go.
Okay.
Bond.
I'm going to go Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh yeah.
Also not bad.
Love
sometimes. I feel like sometimes I get Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's smacking, right? Sometimes you get it, and it feels like it's a little like I got
Wait a
nothing.
minute, but you have to have the name brand on that one. You
Yes,
can't go.
you have to.
can't go
You
generic.
can't go generic. It's bland.
No
It's
bag
just-
cereal. No
I mean,
bag.
sometimes bag cereal is fine, but I think for that it's kind of the color's off as well as the taste.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I went much more sugary
Let's hear it.
than you guys.
Which is
but
funny because I think you're the healthiest eater of us.
I haven't eaten cereal in a long time.
Okay.
But easily my number. In fact, like when I was in college, O's was I would always have O's.
That's number 1 for you?
Number 1, like not
Really?
even close. O's is the best cereal out there. Number 1, top 10 list on everything.
I don't know that I've had it. I can't remember the last time I had it. If ever. I need to try it.
Pick up a box.
Pick up a box.
You
O's,
gotta
if you
do
want
it.
to sponsor, comment.
Yeah, you gotta do it. O's
General
is incredible.
Mills.
O's, in fact, my wife, when we were dating, she dropped off as like a surprise thing, and it was raining. She dropped off 2 boxes of O's, which at the time in college, I was like, "Wow, that's amazing." But we
But
were.
weren't we living together then?
We were.
So
We
why
were.
didn't I have O's? I must have. Anyway, continue. You did. You probably didn't
He
tell
hid
me.
them from
He
you.
hid
What happened? No, what happened was, and you may have not lived this with us at the time. What happened was, it was raining. It washed off the note with my name on it, so none of us knew who it was. So I didn't get all of it.
Because it's
I,
like, we got
I should have gotten all of it, but no. Everybody's like, "Oh, they left it for me,"
Right,
and
so
I
you
was
just
like,
split.
"Well, it's kind of like an inside thing between me and my girlfriend at the time." I was like, "That's got to be for me." So, but we split it up, and it really kind of frustrated me. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Fruity Pebbles, but I'd like to add in a / Cocoa Pebbles.
That's not
Can
that's
I do
two
that?
Cereals. No, that's 2 cereals. They're very different. The
There's
flavors
only
are
4
very
presidents on Mount
It's
Rushmore.
important to me.
You don't
but
have
what if
half
it's
of,
like
Lincoln
no,
and
no,
half
no,
of-
no,
You're
that's
like
not true.
Roosevelt /
No, that's
Theodore
not true.
/ Franklin.
It's like Fruity Pebbles is the first term, and the second term president is Cocoa Pebbles.
So what about Franklin and Theodore? So can they both? They
No,
count as
it's.
one?
I'm just saying like Lincoln's first
Just
term was
Roosevelt's get
fruity,
combined.
and
Is this
Lincoln's second term. It's like the second term.
Oh, they're different cereals.
I'm just saying it's the first term
Can you
and
have
second
the
term.
first term and the second term at the same time?
No,
Can you have the cereals at the same time?
I would love to, but no.
That tastes bad.
Okay, that's fine.
This
that's
is
fine.
like
That's
having
fine.
Two-Face up on Mount
Two-Face,
Rushmore.
Well, have we considered that? Is that something we considered? Because we should. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I don't need to. Okay, I'm gonna take cocoa. I'm gonna take cocoa pebbles.
Over fruity.
I'm gonna take cocoa pebbles.
Okay.
I love a big scoopful
It's good.
and then eating that and then having it all kind of mushed together. Okay, and then I'm gonna do this mainly out of nostalgia. Count Dracula.
Count Chocula.
Count Chocula.
Yeah.
Haven't had that one.
Since I was, for sure, high
It's-
school or
it's-
younger. Middle school, probably.
It's that was a splurge in middle school, high school, and I was like,
It
love
has
Count
marshmallows,
Chocula. It has
right?
marshmallows.
I wonder if it's good. Like some of these cereals, you try them again, they're like not. They don't
Probably
hold
not. I haven't had that in decades.
Brandon says his top 4, and then Jordan's like, I wonder if if that one's good.
Well, he has a
Well, the thing
point.
is, he did say it was for nostalgia, so I
Yeah.
recognize that it's not like he's
Yeah,
having this
yeah.
regularly.
And then I'm surprised you guys didn't do this. It is the all berries.
Is that Captain Crunch?
Captain
all berries?
Crunch all berries.
Which is really good. The berries with the Captain Crunch
Yeah.
is really good. But
And
that mouth damage, it's
Dude,
real.
I'm destroying my mouth with
Oh,
those and
the
all that
key
stuff.
is timing the
Yeah, let
sitting
it sit.
in milk. You
Yeah,
gotta-
let it
you
simmer a
can't
little
go
bit.
right
Let it
after.
marinate.
I don't like sog. I don't like
That's the thing.
Well, you
gotta
got to
time it
fast.
right.
You got to go fast.
Just-
Here's
You get past the breaking
the
point. and
crunch,
it's
but no
done.
rip.
yeah, and that kind of leads me to my next question: is cereal a soup?
Oh boy.
It's
Consider
cereal
that
soup.
for a
Oh,
minute.
boy.
Wait,
okay?
is this Seinfeld? Is that Seinfeld's joke? It's
Was
like-
that?
I can't remember who said
No, that was like a controversial, like icebreaker question.
it. Yeah.
I'm gonna continue.
There we go.
Well, that was an impressive Mount Rushmore. I mean, I think somewhat controversial on your guys' end. I think mine were very solid.
Yeah, you're the only one that threw out a
But
half and half.
but some but some of them incredible. I don't know that Raisin Nut Bran and Cracklin' Oats. Cracklin' Oats is like what I would have eaten at
Cracklin' Oat Bran, right?
Cracklin' Oats.
Bran.
Oat Bran.
Yep. It's more sweet. Both of them are more sweet than you think. I should bring them in. We should just have it. Just crunch on air.
Crunch
Does
on a
Cracklin' Oat
podcast.
Bran like help to keep your digestive?
I don't know. I didn't know it was old person-y until people were like, "Wait, isn't that like an old?" I was like, "I don't know. This is delicious."
See, I think I would have eaten that at my grandparents, like when we were
Yeah.
staying at my grandparents'
Right.
house.
But I think there was a version that was like bran flakes, or it was different and more healthy than this. All I know is it's not.
Do you
very healthy.
eat it right before your dose of Metamucil for the day?
I mix them. I put the Metamucil in and I stir it up. Have you guys had Metamucil?
No.
Yeah,
Really,
Metamucil's-
never?
Yeah, I have.
I've had it a bunch.
I've
yeah.
had. Yeah,
Maybe I should.
your intestines.
Segment
work.
18 minutes in.
Okay, well, cue the topic here. Here we go. Play the music.
Topic, here we go. We're talking education. So we've talked about this at various times with several guests on the podcast, education, what their feelings are. And in fact, the interesting thing is we've had pretty different opinions from multiple people. Now, some people are hardcore. I don't know the current education, how it is now, is worth it. And some people are like, yes, I think it was an amazing. Who was it that loved it? There was someone that was a hardcore, like, yes, education is a wonderful thing. I really want my kids to do it. Who was it?
I don't remember.
You remember someone saying it, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So our discussion we're going to have today is education. When is it worth it? And that's a stupid theory to say. Education is always good. I think all of us take the stance that more education is better. Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
Who wants to identify
We're just
themselves?
talking about the source, right?
We're talking about, it's ROI is what we're looking at, is like traditional education, a college.
Yeah.
I just think that when we were growing up, that was pretty much the way, right? After high school, you go to college, university, 4-year college. Now, I remember even the counselor, Mrs. Crosgrove. Do you guys remember her? She was the counselor, and she said, "Hey, there's technical schools out there too." But at least I
laughed at
felt,
that.
I was like, no.
You're like, who do you
So,
think I am?
so when she said, "Hey, there's technical school," all you heard was,
That's right. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good joke.
"That's all
You're
you
like,
heard."
no, I see you may say that to other students that are
Maybe you don't know.
Well, and then what she said
not
was,
as bright as I am.
what she said was, "There's technical school." Okay, I said it. I checked it off the list. Like I said it.
Right. And I would like to even go back there and I say that those are not bad options. The thing is, the bang for the buck for those are incredible. Like, they're going to be way better. too often you go to college and you spend a bunch of years and it's incredibly expensive. I've talked to my nephews even when because they're around this age. They're kind of getting out of this age, I guess, now. And I ask them, like, let's say you're dating someone that got like a kindergarten, like that teacher degree from New York University. You know they're probably at least $50,000 in debt. Like, how big of a deal is that? It should be a big deal. That's a lot of money for very little return.
I mean, 50,000 is low, right?
Yeah, that's optimistic, right? That's assuming financial aid. Easily could be.
But, you know, the problem with when you're getting married is you don't consider that.
Yeah, actually, you're right. This is like a whole nother topic. It's not really business related.
It's like, oh, you can overcome any obstacle.
Exactly. Right? I asked him, I was like, would that be a barrier to you? And he's like, I don't know, shouldn't love be more important? Yeah. And I was like, yes, that's the perfect single person
when
answer.
You're 20.
That's right. Then when you look back, you're like, man, that would suck if my wife had $50,000.
Why do you have all this debt?
That's right. A year later.
Yeah.
You bring that up after though.
I would have taken credit card debt over this.
Well, the debate that we have is traditional education.
Yes.
And the reason being is when we were graduating, for example, now a lot of major universities have free education platforms.
Yes. You're saying online, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and I believe MIT and Harvard and a lot of them just put entire classes online.
But they're not degrees, right?
That's
you don't
fine.
get a degree. Yeah.
That's fine.
And that's an argument to be made. How important is the piece of paper versus just the education? Now, the piece of paper probably shouldn't matter.
I don't think it's important. I don't think the piece of paper is actually important at all because nobody's ever asked me for mine.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever
I think it's important maybe if you graduate from Harvard.
Sure. But yeah, the topic is, all right, what would you recommend to other people? What would you recommend? No, number one, I think we've always said this. If you have a profession that requires it, like typically health,
100%,
engineering,
RN, doctor,
law,
certain degrees of engineering, software engineering would not be included in this. We're talking like physical engineering, structural, electrical, mechanical, architect,
right,
lawyer, yeah, anything legal,
legal. You have to have it.
And you know, to be honest, you may be able to. Let's see, can you get an associate degree and get let into a legal?
I don't think so. I don't know.
You have to get a bachelor's degree.
You have a bachelor's degree. But in any case, you're going to have to go to standard education. You're going to have to go to a law school.
But everybody outside of that, right?
That's what we're discussing, right?
And then the reason being is the cost associated with going to school anymore has risen,
skyrocketed
tremendously, dramatically. Even most of us went to Boise State University, and at the time I believe it was $1,800 a semester.
That sounds about right.
2,000, somewhere around there. Yeah, not much.
And I believe it's doubled since then, which is still pretty good.
Right. But
you're looking at, maybe $7,000 a year. So 28,000 for 4 years. Right.
And you're taking into account the cost, not the opportunity cost, which is if you had done like a technical school that you could be working at that time and making money all those years at a full-time job.
Yep. So I wouldn't have ever done a technical school because I wanted to go into sales, right? Not saying that I couldn't do sales with that degree. I wasn't interested in that any of the industries serviced by a technical school, right? But right now, if I were coming out of high school, I would be a little bit torn because I want the social aspect of college.
Yes. There's certainly a point there.
However, I could get better experience in sales and marketing working for somebody paying me than I could sitting in marketing 101.
Absolutely.
Like 100% over and over and over all day long.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that, and not only that, I want to get out there. If I were, when you look back and you're at our stage, you want to get as much experience before you make your final decision as possible. And so sometimes when you're in college, you just get so antsy to get out there and start making money because you've been there for 4 years that you just jump into a job that's open and you're just like, yeah, I'm going to commit myself to this industry. Whereas if you had 4 years of experience building in different industries, I mean, you have a much bigger wealth to choose from of what you like.
Yeah. Or you don't get antsy and you just keep going to school forever.
Right.
Well, and that's a lot of money because you're not making money, plus you're paying.
And all your friends are there and that's what you know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay here for her life.
Right. Well, certainly definitely have, I've never understood it, but certainly that aspect.
Now, Christine, your sister-in-law, Christine Minor, I loved when her story, she talked, it was awesome because their situation in Germany, I don't know how it is now, but when she went to school, an employer hired her, but also paid for her school. And then when she wasn't at school, they had an internship where she'd be employed there. So it was like she was getting practical experience while they were paying for her school. I mean, that sounds like a great situation. This is the problem you're saying is that you don't have practical. A lot of these classes, they're not practical. You learn more doing than going to the school.
I don't know how much college costs in Germany.
Well, I think for her, I mean, in Brazil, it was like, you get public is paid for if you can get in. The hard part is getting in.
Okay. Well, the problem with that setup in America is if, let's say you pay for somebody and the costs are really high, then how long do you have to have that person's ROI return that? I mean, they have
contract, right?
Yeah, they have to be there for a long time to have that come back. But the amount of resources available to somebody graduating high school, as far as the platforms that they can enroll in to get the same knowledge as we got, are so much higher than when we were in high school.
But you said even just YouTube, right?
Yeah, YouTube.
Or these Harvard, MIT online programs.
Exactly. And so if you had a curriculum, like a roadmap on some of the information that you wanted to learn, you could take these classes for free.
Yeah.
Right? And then, if you take into account coding, you can learn all of that stuff at no charge to you.
Right.
And get as much training on that as you would like to get. Not only that, you can go get a job somewhere and they'll train you in whatever language that you want to learn coding wise.
Yeah, I mean, if you want more structure, more discipline, then there's tons of boot camps that are inexpensive,
Right.
relatively. You think $10,000, boot camp for 3 months, like that to me is a crazy good gamble.
Yeah.
Like you take that gamble, even if it doesn't work out, you learn really quickly that you don't want
We
it.
had a boot camp guy on our
Yeah, we did. Jake
Overall.
Overall. That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had a really good, it was a
I love that
Boise
place.
Codeworks.
Boise Codeworks, yeah, that's a great place.
Yeah.
I've talked there several times. It's a good.
And what was interesting about him is he was doing nursing.
Yeah, he was a nurse for a long time.
Yeah.
He was learning. Yeah, he did code on the side. Now, one thing that that I think is important to think about is I want to play devil's advocate a little bit here, even though I think we're all on the same page, right? So I'm going to play devil's advocate. Is out of high school, how do you know where to go? College kind of helps with that. It's an expensive.
I would disagree. I went to college, obviously. I didn't graduate in 4 years. It took some time to bounce around and figure out what I was going to do.
Because you're going to do video, weren't you?
I was going to do construction. I was going to do video.
You're gonna
I
be a
was going to
teacher.
be a teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of different things I was going to do. And I think without real world experience, it took a little bit longer for me to figure it out.
What was the real world experience that helped you know?
It was actually working for my brother's fence company when I decided to finally go into IT. Something,
yeah, that's right, 'cause
Something
you
came
said-
up, and I was helping him out with his network.
And you were like,
and
this
I
is
was in
great.
school, but at that time I was doing construction management. And I solved a problem with the network, and I was like, this is really fun. And then I'm like, I like computers. And it's something I probably already knew and everybody knew about me, but I just wasn't like...
You didn't formalize it.
Yeah. But I remember that distinct experience and was like, I like this. Why don't you just keep going with it? So all of that bouncing around in school, it still was something outside of school that kind of pushed me to decide.
So you're saying, let's map out an ideal path for someone. They graduate from high school and then they get jobs, is what you're saying. Try out different jobs to learn what you want to do. And I think that ideally, I think we all can look back and like, yeah, obviously that sounds like a good way, because otherwise you're committing a lot of money, time to something you're not sure if you're going to do. This way you get paid and you learn what you do and what you don't and what you do like and what you don't like. Now, some of the problem that happens, especially in our culture, is you could get married and then you have kids. And let's say you're 20 or 21, you haven't gone to school yet. You haven't found out exactly what you want. And then you find out what you want, but you already have 2 kids. And you can't really, it's harder to take a break to say, okay, 21 is probably young. You know what I'm saying, though? Young, now I got to go back to school. And all of a sudden our income's gone. And that's a hard.
That is hard, for sure. That is a difficult one. I don't know how you would plan ahead for that.
You have to say, okay, we're not having
Yeah.
kids, right? You just got to change
Yeah.
your aspect of we're going to wait to have kids until you're later, 29, 30, whatever, until you finish education. But maybe financially, And I don't know, maybe that's the better choice. I don't know. I'm not saying it's the best choice for health.
I think you have to have guidance. If you're coming out of high school, you have to have guidance on some direction to go, right? Like if you grew up in a household where your parents are in the health industry, they're probably going to guide you into a dental or hospital or something in the health line. And so you're just going to assume, all right, I have to go to college for that. Mm-hmm. Right? Versus, we're not in the health industry. We're in more of a business industry. And so for my kids, I'm going to be like, look, there's tons of opportunities in business. You really need to just go around and get a lot of experience doing some of these things.
In high school, you're saying these are things they could do in high school.
Yeah, they can do in high school, but then coming out, it's like I'm going to give my kids guidance on what I think they should do. And they're going to do whatever.
Based on what you know of them. You're saying.
What I know of them and what I know of work.
Right.
And so I don't know. I think that you have to have guidance. If you don't have guidance, then you're just going to really search around and go to college for guidance or go do these things until you find your path.
Which is an expensive way to get guidance.
Or you're going to go to college because you don't want to be seen as some kind of loser. Right?
Which is true. Yeah, honestly.
I think that I didn't amount to anything because I didn't go to college. And it's like, not everybody should go to college. The world or the country needs those people that learn a trade, that learn technical skills through either, some type of education or just on the job training that they get. I watch Dirty Jobs, and if you follow Mike Rowe on social media, he's put out a couple pieces lately, just done some interviews where it's like, there's a lot of people that just don't want to work. There's jobs out there that are hard to do, and you can make a lot of money running these businesses, and they've set them up or they've started these businesses without formal education. Yeah. You don't have to have a 4-year degree to run. Like one of his episodes was about rod busting. So these guys that are hauling rebar for these overpasses or highways. And the company does I think it was 60, 70 million a year.
Wow.
And the guy didn't go to college.
No.
So,
the thing about it is if two people came to me and they were looking for the same job and they had the same intensity of energy, right? I don't care if one went to college or not.
Yeah.
I think college for me would be like, oh, well, they were able to be responsible enough to go through it and set a goal. But sometimes it adds more stress to them that they have to pay off a debt or they have to make it worth it, want more. Where most of the positions don't require a college degree that I have. They require experience and they require energy and determination and ambition and stuff, and then sometimes a license in insurance, which can take a month to get or a month or two. So if you're saying to you mentioned you don't want to look like a scrub. Well, if I were to see somebody coming out of high school and saying look, I know what I want to start an insurance agency and I want to get that experience here, then I'll look at that kid and I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's do it. And I don't think he's a scrub at all,
right?
Because he just saved him 4 years and for $50,000 of expenses.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I think that's incredible. Changing the subject to MBAs. When I got my MBA, it was always marketed to me that I'm going to make $1 million more over my lifetime than you guys. And they're like, MBA students make $1 million more in their lifetime than non-MBA students. So I have that over you.
I have one semester. We did that
semester
okay.
So
together.
you'll get
$1 million,
$750,000.
take $1 million and divide it up.
It was a 2-year program.
2-year
right?
program, so a fourth of that. So you'll get $250,000 more than me. Wait,
yeah.
but I have a
That'd
semester
be
of accounting. Does that count? A master's in accounting?
Do you? Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Tax.
So
you guys will make the same.
Jordan, why did you stop?
I stopped because I didn't think it was going to give me. I knew I wasn't going to become. Everyone I looked around at me, they didn't have masters, and they were doing fine with accounting. Even then, I was like, okay, maybe I'll stay in accounting. But I was looking around at everyone else, and I was like, I don't see that is going to give me much. Everyone around me doesn't have that. I just got enough to be able to sit for the CPA exam. Exactly. CPA was more important.
I don't know why I thought it was a good idea. I just thought, hey, more training, higher pay. But at the time when I was doing my, my MBA, my employer actually told me, we don't want you to get it.
Right.
Because we want you to focus. If there was a degree more, I was doing programming, so IT stuff then, and they said, if there was something more specific to that, then yeah, we would think it'd be beneficial. They weren't willing to pay for it, but they told me, we don't think this is a good idea because it's going to be more taxing, I think, on you. You're going to be focused on other things.
And they're right.
And I agree.
Right.
I look back and yes, they were right. And I only went one semester into the program. And it was a bunch of repeat classes from
100%
the undergrad stuff. So
yeah. So I went because at the time I was working for my dad, who said, if you get your MBA, I'll give you a raise. And I was like, okay.
Was he willing to pay for?
I don't remember if he did or not. He may have paid for a portion of it. But then he left halfway through, like he retired halfway through. And then my older brother, Jeff, was my new manager, I guess.
Episode 27 or whatever.
Episode 26. Nope, that's not it. Anyway. And he hated that I was going to school. I was like,
just he thought it was a waste.
He's like, yeah, he had the same opinion. He's like, it doesn't help me at all. You're not going to be better after it. And he was right. I didn't learn really anything to help me perform better at work. I did meet people that were ambitious that I still keep in contact with some, which I thought was really valuable. Mm-hmm. All of us there really wanted to excel and wanted to be better. And I think knowing people that are like that is good for you in general. But yeah, at one point he's like, don't do it. I almost dropped out a number of times because it was all night classes for the most part. You'd go to work during the day and then you'd do your MBA at night, and you'd a lot of times do your homework during the day at work. So stupid.
Probably another reason he didn't want you to do it.
Yeah, so it's stupid. And then you got to prepare for tests and all this stuff, and you're not really focused on the job as much as you should be. And then you get the degree, and then they're like, oh, great, now I got to give you a raise?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just funny because it's like, we want you to do really good at this company. And in order to do that, go to this other place, right, that doesn't know anything about our company.
Right.
And somehow that's going to magically help you. It's like, why don't you just ask some questions and learn how to run this business better?
Or go to like a master class.
Yeah.
Go to like a 6-month training. That like, well, let me see. Like, for example, an Insurance Travelers or Safeco or a large insurance company puts on like a management training thing that you could go for like 3 weeks to.
Yeah.
On best practices on insurance or something like that. There's a lot of options there, but I would say if I were to say, if somebody wanted to say, should I get my MBA? If they had a very like engineering degree,
it could help.
It could help.
Right. Because they have technical knowledge and they're going to learn more general business knowledge. Sure.
Because they're going to do the financing.
Your degree was in entrepreneurial management.
Yeah. Oh, dude, my MBA was total waste.
Yeah.
Total waste. I really did not enjoy it at all. I didn't like it at all. But
I think a lot of kids or students have the idea that once I have that piece of paper, I did it. So you owe me money, right? I got a degree.
Sure.
So therefore, and it's like, that's not the end. That's the beginning. And you haven't really proven yourself. The piece of paper, when people go for like these art degrees or these like psychology degrees, which I'm not trashing on those, but sometimes they don't have a lot of real world application. And it's like, hey, I did it. I went to college, and employers are like, well, that doesn't help me.
Yeah. Well, you know who values an MBA? Large corporations.
Yeah.
They like really, because it's easy for them to equate.
It's hard for them to evaluate, right? They have a lot of applications. They have to choose someone and say, this is something.
They're more qualified, right? And so at the time, we would always talk about that. And you're like, if you're doing an MBA, you're probably looking at a larger corporation to go work for because they value those. In small businesses, no, they are not valued at all. And Boise doesn't have, or Idaho doesn't have a number of extremely large companies like California or New York or some of the larger cities out there. I was glad I got my MBA because at the time I thought I really wanted to go work for a company called IDEO.
Was that a consulting company, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they required an MBA. And so I wanted to not have it be a disqualification, but my true calling was starting my own thing. And so at the time, you make decisions based on what you have best knowledge of. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if my kids don't have, and I'm going to talk to my kids quite a bit about college, But if they don't have a specific ambition to go into a profession that requires it, I'm going to want them to get experience elsewhere prior to going to college.
Yeah, I want to think. I feel slightly uncomfortable because we're trashing so hard on education, and we really need to make sure traditional education. We're not saying all of us are. I would say all of us are very educated people. We all have degrees, and even without degrees, I think we'd still be educated because we read a lot, we've learned a lot, and we've tried to make ourselves better through that. Education is crazy important. You're going to become better. You're going to be able to perform better, but you just have to think hard. You look at the numbers, you need to weigh heavily, especially when you're even your choice of college, right? Out of state automatically makes it way more expensive. You're not getting scholarships. Those are the ways you have to take those into account.
Yeah, right. I think what I'm trying to point out, not to trash on education because there's a lot of value in it, obviously, but education is not or college is not
Traditional
the only path,
yes.
right? And I think for so many kids, at least when we were growing up, if you were talking to your friends and you didn't have some college in mind, you're kind of weird.
Yep.
Like, well, why aren't you aspiring to
Every
something
one
more?
of us, yep.
And it's not the only way.
Right. Yeah. There's also the disclaimer that we do not know what our lives would be like if we hadn't gone to college. We don't. I don't know what I would be like if I hadn't gone to college. If I had only done a boot camp, and maybe I'd be a worse businessman because I didn't take accounting. I wouldn't know numbers. I don't know. So we're only seeing one side.
And when you set the education side of it to the side and you look at the social side, that's a huge part of it too.
It is.
And where do you get those experiences?
Right. You're just working every day and you're hanging out at home. Yeah. Instead of having someplace focused, like, we hung out, we were involved with, our church programs institute a lot. A lot of people we met there. We made a lot of really good relationships.
Can you get that without college?
Yeah,
can
I'm
you
sure
live
you can,
downtown?
But this
how?
is like a formalized. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing.
Can
right?
you just go sit in classes and?
Well, but
Like, not
legitimately,
on it,
can
but-
you live on campus?
You could live
No,
close
not
to
be
it.
a student.
BSU doesn't really. Yeah, you could live close, right, and just hang out with that area. You could, like, even for our church, the institute, for example, that's still available even if you don't go to
Right.
school. But
I'm just wondering because BSU has a ton of student housing now.
yeah, they didn't when we were there.
They
Right?
didn't
But now
have,
they have a lot.
Yeah,
more.
but could you live on campus and not be a
don't
student?
think
No,
so.
you can't live
I
on
don't think
campus.
so.
Why?
Not in student housing.
I think
Because
they
you're not a
check
student.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a discount.
You
price.
apply
I'm a
for
student
it.
of life.
School of the hard knocks.
Yeah, I just think because if you could win-win.
Yeah, you
know
go
what I mean?
live there.
You just get up, you go to work,
Yeah.
you come home, and you're in.
Hanging out with the
suckers have
dorms.
to study.
Yeah.
I'm just living here.
Yeah,
Reminds me of Fred from Big Hero 6.
right. Exactly. Yeah, that
He's
guy.
like-
Yeah, I just wonder. I mean, certainly off campus housing, you can get involved.
Yeah.
In a group of kids that are going to school, a bunch of suckers.
Yeah.
And
Like, hey, how's that test going for you?
yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
that would be nice.
it would be nice.
Yeah.
No homework.
And because if you're making money in a group of people that are spending money,
You're gonna have someone. You're gonna be like the rich.
well,
man.
you're the king.
You're the
you
king,
know?
that's
You're the land and skunks with half a nose
Yeah.
or
You're
whatever.
like, I'm making $15 an hour. Take that, suckers.
Yeah, I mean you're making income.
Right.
And so I remember you had a job at one point,
Because I had a business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eagle Blue. Yeah.
and you were making a good amount of money.
Yeah. We took dividends. It was doing really well. I was during construction, so
Yeah.
Yeah, we were doing really well.
And I was like, and you struggle just to buy anything, right? Like
Yeah.
paper towels and stuff. And you're just like, you don't want to spend $1 more than you have to on any stuff that, anyway. So it's definitely, yes, education incredibly important. You have to have it. But
Think hard about where you go to school and if you need to go to school yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard too, because we always discuss, let them be kids as long as they can.
But then they don't know what they want.
But then you're like, okay, at some point now you have to be a grown up.
Yeah.
As soon as possible. And so you have to like get a mentor, you have to get guidance, you have to get input, and you have to get experience and all this stuff. And that takes time.
Right.
Anyway. Well, that was a lively discussion.
Yes.
Leave a comment on what you think, on what your opinion is. Hopefully,
My mom would be probably mad. Because I feel like she's a strong proponent of education, so she's going to be like, leave a comment, Mom. Put it there
Yeah.
in YouTube, or you can text me and say, hey, I think you're wrong. I
put
would
a
love to hear
comment.
your
Yeah,
points.
and you would post a comment
You,
for
yeah,
her
you
on
send
her
it to me,
behind.
and I'll take a screenshot of it, and then I'll put it in the
And
YouTube.
we'll read it on our next episode.
Seriously, you text me, I'll read on the next episode about, well, maybe 2 episodes. Later.
2 episodes.
Yeah, sometime we'll read it. I know that you value education, Mom. Sorry.
There you go. Well,
Love you, Mom.
Love
and
you.
she did a great job. And she really did. Anyway, cue the outro.